Hey, everybody. Hey, YouTube. This is your girl, Christal. I know I have been MIA for a while. I know you guys have seen like the reality checks and everything, but I have been MIA for the last couple of weeks that Ready to Love has been back, and that is only because I was actually in the process of getting married. So I got married on October 4th. Thank you guys, everyone that left a message, that left a post to say congratulations. Thank you all so much for that. It's very well appreciated. And I'm back. I'm back with a little bit of a scratchy throat, but I'm back and we have got to talk about Ready to Love. So I think I made a mistake earlier and put that I was going to talk about this at 9:30 because I'm still getting used to the fact that Ready to Love comes on an hour earlier than it did before, but it's okay. We're going to talk with who we have here, and you guys can go back and share this. Hopefully, watch it, share it with other people, and let's talk about this season in DC. So again, if you are watching and you have not subscribed to the channel, this is a perfect time to subscribe. It'd be your wedding gift to me. It'd be your subscription to from Christal XO. Thank you so much, Nicole, for that. Congratulations. Everybody's been so sweet. I posted a few pictures from the wedding, and I'll probably post some more next week. And then, the interesting thing is, when I first started doing these conversations, I started working with Rolling Out and talking about relationships, and I was single, like single. And I remember feeling bad about that because I was like, who's going to want to listen to me talk about relationships when I'm, very single? And all my friends knew I wasn't, not only was I not single, but I wasn't really even dating at the time. But I trusted my gut and I just kept having these conversations. And because I really don't think that a person has to be in a relationship in order to talk about relationships. I'm not a relationship expert, but I am someone that I feel tries to put a positive spin on everything. So anyway, I kept doing it. And, look what happened. Like 4 years later, I ended up, married. And I'm not saying that I won't have problems and don't have problems, but life is really about sharing, learning, and you never get to a point where you can't continue to learn, right? So anyway, I'm going to shut up. I know I'm talking more than usual. My guest for tonight is not going to be on. However, you guys we're going to talk about this episode together. And Monday at 8 o'clock, we're going to have Libba on, who actually was the first female that was, kicked off, that was not ready to love. And then at 9 o'clock on Monday, we're going to have, I believe his name is Lamont on, who was the first guy. It's always interesting, the first people that kind of get kicked off. And I wonder how they choose who goes and who doesn't. So we have both of them on Monday. And then later on the week, we're going to bring back Nephew Tommy. He has to come in and talk to us about this season. This season, to me, DC, I'm really glad that they switched it up and took it away from Atlanta. Number one, thank God they didn't come back to Atlanta. And then number two, Houston, because you can kind of see a different type of African-American professional in DC. I see some differences in the cast, the dynamics of the women and the men. What do you guys think? Do you guys see like a little bit of difference in the vibe in DC rather than Houston? And yes, Nicole, before we get into this season, I just want to go on the record to say I am not surprised that Liz and Jason are not together. Not that I don't love positive couples, and I really like Liz a lot. I like Jason also, but you guys remember last season I kept saying Liz is more mature than he is. He's not ready for that. Like, sometime the woman that is the good girl that has made all these decisions not to get into the wrong relationship, sometimes she has a lot of obstacles for a guy to get over because she's so used to being by herself and living by her standards, which are not wrong, but sometimes it makes it a little bit difficult. So I just did not see them making it. And I also felt like if at any moment Kyra had said, Jason, I really want you to I want you to be with me and I'm going to choose you, I think Jason would have definitely turned. So that's nothing against Liz, nothing against Jason, because I think they're, it was cute, but I just felt like they were trying too hard and I did not buy it. So in this season, when Tommy had the two of them sit down, they weren't even really like lovey-dovey. You could tell they were holding on for the sake of, the TV, the whole thing. Everybody wants a ready to love couple, but no, absolutely not. So anyway, I just had to say, I told you guys, I did not believe in Liz and Jason. I like them. I enjoyed their interview, but nah, buddy. She needs, to me, Liz needs like an older man that is a lot more experienced and can kind of, work her through that. And Jason he's still young. He probably needs a Kyra that's ready to settle down, right? But anyway, this season, let's take a look at this season and then let's get into the dynamics that happened tonight.
I haven't really met anyone to make me feel like this.
It's time to see if DC is ready to love.
Okay, that was a very short clip. That was supposed to be a longer clip. That was a very short clip, but I did, in that clip we see her name is Sabrina. I like her a lot. She's one of my favorites right now. Sabrina, very exotic looking, with the short blonde hair and the really dope cut. I like her because she seems very, very real. But let's talk about, I got the people out here that I want us to talk about. We're going to talk about Libba because, like I said, she's going to be on the show on Monday. So if you guys remember Libba, that's Shears right there. I didn't realize she was a professor. That also explains, some of the dynamic. So last week when Libba was let go, I was not surprised because Libba had been married for a really long time. And when you're married for a really long time, you have no idea how to date, right? Hell, you could not know how to date and be single. But if you've been married for a long time, you really don't know how to date. She also pointed out her flaws in her interview. She was like, well, I don't have a big old butt like some of these girls, but I got this. I was like, she's not really ready. She's not comfortable enough in her skin. I think it's dope that she's a professor, but I think that she probably is going to have to get used to being on the dating scene for a little while before she could be on this show. This show is for professional daters. This show is for people who are comfortable in their skin, who are not intimidated by being around other people, other singles. If you're a female on this show, you have to be comfortable enough in your skin to see a guy that you're into going out with other women. And very few women are ready for that. Very few men are ready for that, as we're going to talk about in a minute. But with Libba, I agree, Mwadi, she seems a little awkward and uncomfortable, but I think most people are after coming out of a marriage. It is awkward. Dating is awkward and uncomfortable. She just had a lot of ideas of what she thought dating was. And usually when you come to the table with a lot of ideas, you go home quickly because it doesn't really follow, those ideas. So Libba went home. Lamont, I'm interested to see what he has to say. I didn't really understand why he got kicked off. But I know that they like to keep people on that have a lot of personality. So I'm not, I didn't really have red flags with him, but I did have red flags with your boy right here. Corey. I know everybody had red flags with Corey. Everybody had to have red flags with Corey. From Corey's first conversation about how I'm sure he'll be joining us soon. He has not gotten kicked off yet, but I can't imagine that he will make it the entire way unless he really does some self-introspection. But for him to say that he does a copy and paste with women online, he was trying to do a copy and paste in his conversation. He said they should have sent him home during a commercial break. Just about. I mean, he is not ready to love. what I learned about just watching Corey's interaction and talking to a lot of guys, I've always had a lot of guy friends, is I think sometimes men really don't know what to say to women, right? Now, some men are better at playing it off than others. Y'all are crazy. He looks like JJ. He does look like a better version of JJ from what's happening. But I like Corey. I just see he has no clue. And I think there are a lot of guys that have no clue. Like, I think when you see women, especially beautiful women that are professional, got all their stuff together, I think that it can be intimidating for guys to have like something to say to get their attention. And Corey has no clue. No clue. You guys saw him on the date where he fixed the girl's tire, which I thought got him. I thought that was kind of like his saving grace, that he was able to fix her tire. But kudos to Corey for being able to fix a tire, because there are a lot of men that I have met that do not know how to change a tire. So kudos to a man that knows how to do it and doesn't hesitate to do it, because there are a lot of guys here in Atlanta that will stand with you while you call AAA, or maybe they'll call AAA for you, but they won't want to get their hands dirty. That is super unattractive. So kudos to Corey for actually getting out and, using that opportunity to kind of save the day. And then I guess he felt more comfortable because he keeps saying that he excels at first dates. We have not seen this so-called first date excellence that he claims he brings, but he managed to stay here another week. But again, I'm sure Corey will be joining us soon, and we'll be able to have a lot of fun with him because he's funny. He just is not someone that I ever want to go on a date with, but he's someone that I think needs to be around women and kind of calm down. He must have been like really unsure of himself early on, because he's just doing too much constantly. Now, speaking of doing too much, we did see that the ladies were not feeling Carrington. So Carrington, I was actually surprised to see Carrington end up in the bottom so soon, just because he's very good looking. And even though he is giving lines, he's not offensive, right? He's playing it safe. He's saying all the things that he thinks women want to hear. The reason that I don't think it's bad that Carrington went home is because he's 33, right? So most of these women are in their mid to late 30s. Some may even be in their 40s. I'm not sure. But what I do know is like with the one young lady who I love, I have to find her name. I think she has some New York. She spent some time in New York because she has a little New York, that little New York swag, and you could tell she's got a lot of New York type energy. But I love her. I love her character. I think she's going to be a lot of fun to watch. But you saw Aisha. Yes, Aisha. She's the one who had the accident and couldn't make it to the ladies' lounge. So you saw Aisha with Carrington, and she was like, yeah, he know how to talk his way out of a paper bag. But she was rolling along with him like it didn't bother her because she recognized what it was. She also said to him, I'm 38, you're 33. What do you think about that? 38 and 33 are not far apart, but for a man and a woman, it can be light years. For the man to be younger and the woman to be older, depending on the man, because I know everybody's going to say, oh, well, no, you don't know. It could be a very mature man. Yeah, it could be a mature man, but for the most part, a 33-year-old man and a 38-year-old woman that has children and is doing her thing may not be the best, because it takes men a longer time to mature. Everybody knows that. There are outliers, of course, but as a general rule, that could be an issue. Also, Carrington works in nightlife. I don't know what nightlife is like in DC. I've been there a few times, but I don't really know what their nightlife landscape looks like. But I know for me, in Atlanta, I would not date a promoter. And this is probably, let me say this. I dated one before and I did not enjoy it. And I said I would not date another one. And it has, it's just whatever a person does for a living, it takes on kind of who they are, especially if you're successful at it. If you're a successful promoter, you are very friendly and comfortable with a lot of women. You're very flirtatious. You're very charming. These are just part of the prerequisites for that job. So it's not like you can, you can't separate the man from the job. And there's some women that are okay with that. I'm not saying I'm insecure and couldn't deal with it. I'm just saying I wouldn't want to deal with it. It's a lot. He's out at night constantly. He's in the club. He's around a lot of females. He's talking to females. Most of the time, promoters are targeting females because they are the ones that, if girls come out, then guys follow. It's just not the type of relationship that I would want. And I can understand why a lot of other women wouldn't want that. That's not saying that he couldn't be faithful. I understand all that. I'm just saying that's not the environment that I would want my man in on a regular basis. And Aisha brought up the fact that Carrington is in promotions and entertainment. So that's a part of his quick answers. He knows how to talk to women. Like I said, he's very good looking, very charming. Love the beard. Love the entire presentation. He has this little thing where he gets quiet and looks the woman in her eye. We pick up on all of that, Carrington. And it probably works. It's probably why he's successful as a promoter. But I can definitely see it would not be somebody that would be seriously ready to take on a whole lot. Because you add the promoter with his age, and it's like, that's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot going on. So that was that. Now, I wanted to ask you guys, what did you think about the conversation with that when it came to sex? Somebody mentioned earlier in the comments that this cast sexual it's really sexually forward. Like the young lady that is a intimacy coach. That's going to be a lot for other people to be around. Courtney is very comfortable in her sexuality. I don't think there's anything wrong with being comfortable in their sexuality at all. I think it's cool, but the fact that you're on a date and that's like one of the first things that comes up could be a red flag. Christine says Carrington said he has never had a girlfriend. I was surprised about that. I am not surprised, Christine, that a 33-year-old promoter hasn't had a girlfriend. It's too many women. It's too many women. And I like the fact that he said he didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. That means that he understands what's going on. He wants to play. And the show is probably just a really good look for him. He's going to get a lot of attention because of it. He went home kind of early. So that may not work to his benefit, but he'll get booked to do stuff there in DC. He'll probably be doing stuff in Atlanta and Houston with the other cast members. This is probably like a good social push for him. Yeah, he's probably had a lot of situationships. He just probably has a lot of women that he entertains, but he doesn't give any of them that title, which is what he should do. Good for him. But what do you guys think about the conversation about intimacy? So Shiloh, who is the intimacy coach, it's an intimacy coach on there, but on her profile, it says that she's a technical program analyst. I guess she just does the intimacy coaching on the side. But with her being at the table and the conversation moving to what was sensual to sexual, I feel like when you have those type of conversations early on, it can be distracting for especially guys. They can come to the table and see you as a professional woman that they're attracted to. And then you start talking about sex, and it's kind of like, once you go there, it's hard to get the attention to come back the other way. So I agree. Sunny Rain says, I personally wouldn't want to lead with the sex conversation. That was my thing. It was just very early on. And then when you have other people there, it's just like now everybody's got to talk about sex, and it just takes it to a place where you can't really go back from. So I thought that was interesting. That conversation, came up. I'm sure it's good for ratings. So, who knows? They might have been talking about a whole bunch of other stuff leading up to that. But I thought that was a lot. I thought that was a lot. I thought it was interesting to see how the different women kind of said different things. I had one of the other women that I liked a lot. I don't know if she's going to stay long, but I like her. I like Tacia. She is hilarious to me. Tacia is hilarious. Now, I don't know if you guys remember last week, Tacia, when we met Tacia, she had like all these beliefs that she has taken with her into the dating world. And she was asking the guys a lot of questions. I was like, I like her. I like her energy. I relate to her, but I don't know if she's going to be able to keep doing that. And I don't know if she made a good impact this time. She didn't want to talk about sex. But she didn't even engage in the conversation because she felt like it was uncomfortable for her. Now, Tacia also said in her intro, I don't know if you guys remember, she said, I know I do need some hot tea. I have some tea right here, Shantae, but my throat is not sore, it just sounds bad. But yeah, the tea is not working. It just makes me sound hoarse. But Tacia has some beliefs that I thought were hilarious, and I wanted to talk to you guys about because I heard them before, especially around, in our culture, we have certain things that we say. So Tacia said that she did not like, I think she said she didn't want a short guy because that was a lot of work. She also said that she needed a medium ugly guy because she felt like fine men are too hard to handle. They don't cater to you, and they can be, caught on themselves and not really focused on the woman. That is hilarious. Have you guys heard that before? I have a girlfriend who would say that all the time. She would say that she would rather be with an ugly guy than with an attractive guy because when she was with an ugly guy, it felt like she was beauty and he was the beast. Hilarious. One of my good girlfriends. Hilarious. And when I heard Tacia say that, she made me think of my girlfriend that says that. And so I wanted to hear if you guys have heard that. Now, I will say my mother, who is one of the funniest people I know, my mom told me growing up, exactly, Nicole, a man is a man is a man is a man. And if you choose an unattractive man or one you're not attracted to, that's going to be on you because he's going to do the same thing that an attractive guy will do. KFS says, I agree, pretty boys are lazy. I don't think that's true. I think that men are not lazy if they really like you, right? Now, there can be, there's always going to be outliers, but I'm just here to say, women, we must start going after what we like because I know that same girlfriend I told you that liked the Beauty and the Beast. I would start that song when she would come around with her boyfriends. I would be thinking that tale is all this time, the Beauty and the Beast song, because she would always be dating. She was gorgeous, and she'd always be dating this really ugly guy. Well, the ugly guys cheated too. And now I'm like, now you're sitting up here with cheated on by an ugly guy. You're sad over an ugly guy. Like, this is all wrong. This is all wrong. So I want to talk to Tacia about that when she comes on. I don't think that we need to, just like, I think men say that about women. I have a lot of guy friends that say, pretty women are difficult, they're high maintenance and da 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 da. But I just think that people are people. And, I wouldn't want to be with a man that was with me because he felt like I was unattractive enough not to be high maintenance, right? That's horrible. That's very unfortunate. When people say stuff like that and they have children, well, they call the children ugly. You know what? I'm not going to really go into that because I have seen that happen before. I have seen women get with men that were, very, very, very financially secure, especially a couple of athletes I'm thinking about. And your children are going to look like the person that you're with. Now, my good girlfriend that would always be like, I want to be Beauty and the Beast. She already had her children. She had her children with a fine man. So, and then I guess when that didn't work, she was just like, okay, I'm going to go find these guys that worship me. But, I don't know. You have to figure out for yourself. Are you concerned about your children, what they're going to look like? Some people have already had children, but I'm just here to say, I'm here to go on the record to say that my mother was right. She would say a dog is a dog, so you might as well get a pedigree. I don't think all men are dogs, but I do think that they have there's a similar consistent theme if a man is not 100% into you, or if he's not 100% ready. And I don't think that has anything to do with how he looks. And I think that we have to stop stop going after men that are less. Exactly, ugly men cheat too. And then now you've done been cheating on by ugly guy. It just feels worse. Anyway, I'm gonna move on. That's just something I believe strongly in. Find somebody that you like the way they look and you like the way they treat you, because I have sat down consoling friends that have been cheated on 2 times by men that and she'd be like, he's ungrateful. Like, yeah, he's ungrateful, but he got with you and he felt like he could get another attractive woman because look at you. So, I want to see her to change that. And I promise you, when she comes on the show, we're going to talk about that. I want to have a conversation. So hopefully we can help her to change her beliefs on that. There was one last guy that I wanted to actually, he did not get kicked off, but I thought I liked his conversation, and I wanted to bring it up tonight because last season there was a guy on the show that he didn't get kicked off quickly, but he did kind of receive a lot of flack and a lot of backlash because he acknowledged having PTSD. So this season we meet Tyrone, and Tyrone is 44, 6 feet tall. Those are good stats, Tyrone. And he talked immediately with the women about his PTSD. But the thing about Tyrone that I want to give props to is the fact that he talked about it and you could tell that he was over it. The guy that talked about it last season, I think his name was Edward, maybe. You could tell that he wasn't really over it. He was still dealing with it. So the fact that, Tyrone came, he put his cards on the table and he's like, this is who I am. This is what I'm dealing with. This is what I've gone through. And then he was able to ask the dates that he was talking to, how they felt. Were there things in their life they were working on? Nobody saw that as a red flag. At least we didn't see that on the show. Everybody thought that he did really well. And it actually seems like he's a few people's, like top person. His name was brought up a lot, if you guys noticed in the round table. So it was Edwin. Yes, more like Edwin. And I liked Edwin, but I feel like people thought Edwin just wasn't over it. And I think it's because of the way he presented it, because of the way he presented his PTSD that made it, like something that a person wouldn't want to deal with. But by Tyrone really just having a normal conversation, you could tell he's past it. He understands. And I think that was the difference between the two. So I just wanted to make sure that I pointed that out. Baby Mama 2 says the producers told him to say that. They could have, we don't know what the producers say. But what I do know from working in publicity and working on some reality shows in the past, producers can tell you what to say. But at the end of the day, you usually are doing what is natural to you. And sometimes when people look at themselves on TV, they're shocked. But every person that I've ever worked with on a reality show, or that I've worked with that was on a reality show, their personality was a lot like what we saw on television. Even if they didn't want to believe it, they really did come off kind of like we saw them. So I think that was a good lesson in that. Like, it's not about your issue. It's about how you deal with it. Edwin and Liz could be a good match. I do agree with that, Shantae. I hope that some of these cast members go back and connect with each other, because I think there's a lot of people with great substance. Like, we see people, that are dealing with real life issues. All of us, most people I think watching this are around that age. This is not your first love. You've probably gone through some life, and we all deserve to have a second chance. We all got to figure it out. Love is not easy. So I think it's a cool show. And I hope that just because they go home, that doesn't mean that they stop. Some of them are just looking for, to be famous. And we get that. We definitely see that. That comes across all the time. But I do think there are some people that are really genuinely looking for love. I thought it was interesting that Walter, who I think is really cute, Walter actually mentioned that he had this love affair with his wife. They were married, I think, 1.5 years, and together for 9 years. She actually passed away. And so it was just like kind of like we saw with Joel. But you know, when he told his story, again, everybody's perception and everyone's situation is going to be different. So I don't know. I think when he explained his story, and his wife died, I don't think that it was for sympathy. I'm not saying that Joel's was, but I think the way he presented it, a lot of people, you know, kind of felt like he shared that, and it wasn't necessarily the way it was said. But yeah, I agree, Sonny. I was really that was a very sad thing, and I cannot imagine losing love, because you saw how he actually said that he gave up his bad boy ways because he wanted to be with her. She changed him, and she waited for him to kind of get himself together. Beautifully explained. So we don't know if these people are telling us 100% the truth, but it's hard to lie when cameras are in your face 24/7. It's hard to keep up a false exterior. It's hard to keep up a representative when the cameras are there all the time and you're being hit with things that you're not sure what's going to happen. So I'm going to say I like Walter. I think that he's going to be around a long time. I also like I like Naeem. I think that he's going to be around a while. I like Sabrina. Tacia, I don't know if she's going to be around, but I definitely want to talk to her. I like Zadia. I think she's going to be around a long time. I think they've got a great cast of different personalities. I feel like the 2 seasons of Houston were kind of like similar personalities. Definitely Atlanta, similar personalities. But I love the fact that DC, we see some difference. We see some diversity in the jobs, in the personalities, and their goals. So I'm excited about this season. I like Walter too. Yeah, he does know how to float around. You guys know who I think. I think I like Courtney. I mean, I like most of these women. They're very different than some of the women that we've seen on the end. Cornelius is interesting to me because he seems very naive, and it's very rare that we see a man that seems kind of naive. And well, we've seen naive men that may be kind of corny, but I think I like Cornelius, the fact that he stood up and, you know, so that he has strong religious beliefs, and he was, you know, very specific about that. But he seems a little bit naive when it comes to dating. So that's interesting. So you said the fitness instructor. So her name is, I think it's Zadia. Yeah, Zadia. She does kind of remind you of Kyra a little, but not in her actions to me. I could see maybe a little in the look, but her actions, she's very I like her. I like Kyra too, but you could tell Kyra was having a good time. Kyra's trying to see how many guys she could get under that spell because she was killing them. She was killing them. But yeah, I think it's going to be fun this season, guys. Also, side note, if you watch Married at First Sight, I'm going to go live next Wednesday. I must, because we are right back. We are right back where we were last season. Not with the same situation, but we definitely got to talk. So if you are a fan of Lifetime's Married at First Sight, please see me here at 10 o'clock on Wednesday. Other than that, you guys, please, I'm getting ready to go over to IG, I think around 10:45, and I'm going to talk to Devin, your boy, who was another Ready to Love blogger, and we're going to have a little bit more conversation about this. So you guys can join me over there. If you're on Instagram, make sure that you are subscribed here so you can get alerts whenever we're going to have conversation, and the alerts will tell you what we're going to be talking about. Yes, Nicole, Married at First Sight, off the chain. Like, I talked to Pastor Cal. We had a great conversation, but he did not prepare me for the foolishness that is going on this season. And this time it's with a woman. Like, this time it's not a guy acting. Well, we do have a crazy guy too. We'll talk about him, but really I want to talk about the female as well. But yeah, you guys join me on Wednesday right here at 10 o'clock for my maths recap because I cannot take this. I cannot take this. I've got to talk about it. We've got to start talking about that show too. But yeah, we're going to be here Monday, 8 o'clock with our girl Libba. And we're going to talk about her experience. I always wonder if the people that get sent home, because this is what I would do. If I got sent home early and I had made a connection, I would text the guy. I would text the guy that I made the connection with and just say, hey, I just want you to know my time ended early and I wish you good luck on the show, but I hope we can stay in touch. I don't know if they would kick me off for doing that or I would get in trouble, but I would definitely do that. Hey, D Glove. Also, I thought it was hilarious that Tacia, she basically like put the guys on blast. Like, why did y'all put me in the bottom two? Hilarious. She sat down. She came in with her pink. Kudos to her. She's a pink girl. Came in with her pink and said, okay, why was I in the bottom? What was that about? He was not feeling that. She is hilarious. I cannot wait to talk to her. I'm telling you guys, we're going to have a good time when Tacia comes on. Y'all know Crystal's going to have the wine on the side and we're going to have a good time. Yes. Shantae, yes, I'm going to start reviewing Love. I do review Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is the thing. We've had everybody from Love and Marriage Huntsville. If you haven't seen my interview with Tacia, I did that a couple of weeks ago. It's right here on the page. You can scroll through. I've interviewed Melody, Tacia. We're going to get some of the new girls on from Love and Marriage Huntsville. OWN has a dope lineup. Like, really, I could just stick with OWN and interview everybody because these relationships are off the chain between getting them ready from Ready to Love to date and then Love and Marriage Huntsville with the actual couples. It's crazy. So, yes, Tacia, I talked to her. Like I said, I'm working on some of the new cast because they came in off the chain. But I don't really review Love and Marriage Huntsville because it's just so much. I don't know. I enjoy Ready to Love and definitely Married at First Sight because it's like people that are getting to know other people. We know the foolishness on Love and Marriage Huntsville. If they don't stop putting Melanie and Martell in the same room to fight, foolish. Like, it's just, we know what's going to happen every single time. They're going to do the same thing. So I don't want to talk about Melanie and Martell fighting every single time. It's a lot. I love the show, but I just think every week it could be kind of monotonous because we know Tacia is going to be, feel some kind of way about Marceau. Marceau's never going to come off because he's very smooth. I do appreciate the fact that he came out and acknowledged that he deals with depression. I thought that was a very different Marceau than we've seen. And I really, give him props for that because he's a very successful, handsome man that seems to have family all together, always says the right thing, does the right thing. So for him to acknowledge that, he suffers from depression, I thought that was huge because we don't see very many strong alpha men acknowledge that. Put him in a bubble suit, let him go out. I think that's the best thing for any couple that's having a hard time is just put on that big bubble suit that we saw on Married at First Sight and just go back and, just knock the hell out of each other in a way where you can't hurt each other. But yes, Shantae, we are trying to talk to Tiffany. Their new cast members came in, like, we understand the assignment and we're getting ready to stay on board. So Love and Marriage Huntsville is a great show. Carlos King is, a genius at being able to put that together. Who knew that those couples would be dealing with all of that when we first met them? But I guess it just shows that everybody deals with, things. Really, life is difficult, and this is entertainment for us. But these are these people's lives. They choose to share it with us, so we can talk about it. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I want to talk for 30 minutes. I'm going to be back next Friday, right after the show, with a special guest. Now, my guest for next Friday that's going to recap the show with me is a former Ready for Love cast member. So you guys can try to figure out who that's going to be. It's a guy. It's a former Ready for Love cast member. He's going to come on with me, and we're going to recap the show, figure out, has he found love? what was he doing wrong? Why did he get kicked off the show? And all of that good stuff. So you guys meet me here Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Hang out with your girl. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe now. And yeah, I'll see you guys on Monday, 8 o'clock with Libba from Ready to Love, 9 o'clock with Lamont from Ready to Love. And of course, I'll be back Wednesday and Friday right here for the recap. All right. I love you guys for watching. Have a great weekend. Do something do something amazing for someone that you love in your life. Make sure that you cherish the people that you're with, because you never know how long you will have them here. So I love all of you again for watching, and I'll see you guys on Monday.